Genuinely, like, we were growing quick. It was the most money I was ever making. And I used ChatGPT one night and was like, there's no point. It can do everything I do better than I can by far.
Things when we need things from them, because I work with Spanish-speaking agents and I want to grow that and actually grow a Spanish-speaking team because that's a huge market.
If Jay's uploading his calculators and his metrics, are we just giving AI all that information and cutting ourselves out down the road?
The GPT-5 is not always stronger than 4. A lot of times you maybe put on a legacy model for like 22 or 23 for them to save token spend. The goal is really that AI is happening quick. Like, I work with it a lot, and I would say that everyone in the room has used it for something more than writing an email. So like, I see you guys as a group of people that are intimidated by it, but still using it. So that's a good thing. And two, like one of the quotes, I don't know if I like, but I keep ringing in my head is, it's not a democratizing thing, it's centralizing. Meaning it finds people that are efficient, it works better with people that are efficient. It's not this great equalizer like these companies are saying it is. So to start it off, everyone does have ChatGPT on their phone, right? Okay, so even though some of us know each other, we're gonna go around the room and I'm gonna have Troy start. I want you to pull your phone out,
Okay.
voice mode, and say, I don't want to introduce myself to the room, introduce myself for me. And what we're gonna do is have everyone's AI is gonna introduce themselves to the room instead of you doing it.
Tell me this while I'm already in. I did not have my phone even pulled. All right. Voice mode, just
Say, introduce myself to a room. I'm here with 5 or 6 other people. Who am I?
introduce myself to the room. I'm in a room of about 5 or 6 other people.
Slow loading.
Yeah.
-2.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
am I supposed to be reading this, or are we supposed to announce it?
It's supposed to be voice moding it. So voice in the bottom right. So everyone sees a little, it's like blacked out the waves. Yep. Not the microphone, the one next to it.
Oh, man.
Hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running.
Okay, there we go. Now Troy, run it back.
Yeah. I'm in a room of 5, 6 other people. Can you please introduce myself to the room?
Absolutely. Let's keep it nice and easy going for a group that size. You could say something like, hey everyone, I'm Troy. I'm a realtor from Lakewood with Keller Williams Elevate, and I really love helping people find the perfect spot around Cleveland. I'm also pretty involved in the community, so I'm always happy to chat about local neighborhoods or anything else you're curious about. Looking forward to getting to know all of you.
Okay.
Did a warm and approachable tone.
All right, Steve will pass you and you'll come back. All right, Bo, you're up next.
Okay. I had to type, I'm sorry. I'm in a room with 6 people. I don't want to introduce myself. Please do it for me.
I'll keep it smooth and out. Just imagine your virtual book. Hey everyone, I'm just here to give a quick intro to Bo. He's the kind of guy who's got a lot of interesting projects going on. In short, he buys buildings and turns them into rock. A lot of basically in the business of making real estate and beauty professionals more successful. So if you see him around, you know he's got some great stories and a whole lot of business savvy. There you go.
All right, Jay, you're next. Before Jay goes, Steve, pull out GPT. And you're gonna go voice feature, and you're gonna tell I'm here with 6 or 7 other people, and I want you to introduce me.
I'm having
I'm here with 6 or 7 other people in real estate, and I want you to introduce me. I don't want to get into the voice thing.
Yeah, run back the
I
voice.
did this transcript. I'm in a room with 6 or 7 other people who do real estate. If you could introduce me.
Absolutely, Steve. So, sure thing. So here's how to do it. Hey everyone, let me introduce you to Steve. He's a real estate pro who's been flipping and managing properties at a high level for quite a while now. He's got a ton of experience in making complex stuff simple and knows exactly how to get the right people on board. So if you got any tricky real estate puzzles, Steve's definitely your guy. And there you go.
Okay, Jay, how are we doing?
Let me log in my account.
Jeff, you logged in?
Not yet. It's just tagged into the Wi-Fi. So let me see if I can.
Maybe that's it.
Reason lending is tough.
You might want to send a promo about this in the future.
Yeah. Anthony, yours ready?
Hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running. Also, if there's anything you'd like me to focus on first, just let me know.
Tell
I'm in a room with 6 other people that are involved with real estate. Would you introduce me? I've never done that before, so it's walk me through steps. I got to choose a voice and everything.
Oh yeah, you gotta pick your voice.
Okay.
Wow, I finally got that in.
All right, so for this side of the room, just quick introduction for everyone here. So Jay's a lender, Jeff is a lender, Anthony is a realtor, Marla's a realtor. First thing I want to go into today is just kind of open conversation. Where does everyone feel like their first win with AI was? So like, I'll kind of speak about how I've worked with everyone in the room on it. So Anthony and Marla, like we worked together on content. They use a CRM and quickly realized that a lot of what couldn't be figured out, let's say 2 to 3 years ago, was about an hour-long coffee meeting where we took that from like scary, I don't want to touch it, to maybe 30 minutes of work. Jeff and I would say have used it as kind of like a business coach, life coach. So he's had a lot of decisions that require more than just content input. And so instead of treating it as something we had to know, we kind of did a thought dump into it and let it right to play. Jay, I would say we used it for several things throughout my loan process just to kind of get feedback and to run through things, but also are starting to use it to grow company structure and see where people should be fit. Bo and I were at a conference thanks to Steve, and Bo was just kind of clustered with all of these options in his head. And I would say we used it as a simplifying tool. Steve was running 1,000,000 miles an hour, and we went to a Columbus event. And basically he said, I know I need to use it. I feel like I'm not using it. And so what we did is kind of rambled for 45 minutes of like where pain points were in his business. It spit out a lot of options that I think truthfully, like we wouldn't even have considered. And what's funny is like 6 months later, you're probably implementing half of those.
Yeah, definitely talking to a lot more different people about things that kind of popped up on the AI chat or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the REITs and trying to sell to larger clients to selling to 150 one-off flips.
Yeah. And then for Troy, Troy did have a voice caller when I met him. It was pre-set up and I was like very intrigued by that. And then in the process of us working on AI together, there's so many things that I say Troy does well manually that he can do manually, but he's never going to have his time back. And so the project I'd say we've been working on most is how to take like Troy's brain and turn that into a system. So what it's done for me, like outside of helping you all with it, is it's kind of been like the nerd that does my homework. So the reason I say that is there have been so many times in business where I see an opportunity is needed, but I either don't have the knowledge, the resources, or the know-how to even offer something, which is why I only did content for 3 to 4 years. And what's been very cool lately is you kind of have this thing now where we can get really any answer from as long as we know what to be curious about. And so the reason I wanted to get like a mastermind together today is I think that there's only so many blind spots I can guess about all of your businesses, but I want this to be more of a group session where I want you all to kind of tell me where you wish AI could be better, or maybe where you hear things at masterminds, or you see like a guy that does what you do and you don't know how to implement it. So for, I guess, all of you, where do you think are the areas you're still nervous with it, or you feel like other people are using it, but you're not using it yet?
Well, I'll go first. You had talked about uploading a contract and having AI read it and basically let you know, hey, let me know if there's any differences that are maybe, I think you said, outside of the ordinary, with that. So trusting the system to do that, with that. And I've tried it with condos. They have these HOA documents that are typically 5,000 pages long. And if someone wants to know, our fences are allowed. Back in the day, I would literally just try to scan through, look at the index. Okay, fences may be here, and of course it wouldn't be there. But I've uploaded, we've done maybe 4 or 5 condos.
So like marginal time saver.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, to go through that, and then it captures it for you, and you can send it to your client to say, hey, it does accept fences.
So what you say, okay, you said something in there about trust. Like trusting it'll do it right. How many of you have a concern that like your AI will hallucinate or give you wrong answers? Like, is that a fair concern that all of us deal with?
Yeah, I think it happens. I think it's still on us though to proofread what
they
spitting out at us. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that is something that I've noticed in the last week or two with GPT's update. They're definitely doing it to save money. Like the GPT-5 is not always stronger than 4. A lot of times you maybe put on a legacy model from like 22 or 23 for them to save token spend. So I personally, I've used Grok for a lot of financial analysis. So like anytime people are spending money on ads or they are Even for myself, like I took my last 2 years, like after I got pre-approved, literally just took those documents, ran it through ChatGPT and basically told it to roast me where I'm not making enough money. And so it's like, you can take these things that are used for one thing and put them somewhere else. And I'll be honest, like GPT has struggled with that on the financial side. Where I've seen it do very well is with, what I would call like coding or flow logic. Like I think it still does have mass use there, where if you're building a funnel, like a sales acquisitions process, or even better utilizing the software you have, I'm liking GPT. The one that I'm very bullish on, like by a mile, is Meta AI. They've just bought everyone. Like this isn't like a picking the team that, you know, is the best. They literally have recruited everyone that built Gemini, built GPT, built Claude, and all these other models. Yet they still don't have the features we want, like being able to upload a document, being able to upload certain things. So it is limited there. But I will say this, there's like 4 people I'm working with now on Facebook ads. What we did was use GPT as the thought engine to like build the copy, the video ideas, and the targeting. We ran all of that back through Meta's own AI on the account we were running. And what happened was really kind of like a confirmation of what we're all afraid of. So I had Meta's AI open in one tab, and I had the Facebook ads open in another tab. And as I was copying and pasting from the ads over into Meta's AI, it had already pasted something before I hit copy, which means there is a communication between the 2 tabs that was not there when the internet was pre-AI. And so to go a little further into this thought pattern, the reason I say this to you guys is everyone knows that, you know, we all remember what Zuckerberg getting yelled at in Congress, right? You're stealing data, like all this stuff. And he was, like, I'm not going to lie that he wasn't doing that. But one of the very interesting things I've noticed in ads recently is they're testing things that we're not allowed to target. And like the example of this that I'll share is with a salon suite. For a guy that Bo and I both know, we had a video ad running, which was the owner, just selfie video out front. Hey, I'm here. If you guys want a suite, you can rent it. And then we had a photo post of a middle-aged white woman in a chair who was one of his tenants just doing hair on a client saying, this could be you too. Facebook now has a feature called, it's like Advantage AI, where they basically make the photos for you. And I'm going to see if I can pull it up, because I really do want you guys to see kind of how wild it is. AI generated 9 women in a chair. And it was like, you know, when you take the ACT and it's like white, Hispanic, Island Pacificer, it was one of every race, which means what's happening is Facebook is testing things that we don't get access to. And so the reason I say all this is if we are clear enough with giving it our intent. So if like everyone in the room is like, my goal is to sell this many houses, to have this much time freedom, to have this many hours of my work automated so that I can spend time with kids, go be with family, whatever that is. We need to just be clear on goal, because the truth is, like, we're not going to always understand the middle with the AI. Like, there's just data that's being tracked that we don't always need to know how it's happening. We just need to know clearly enough what our goal is so that we can ask enough questions in the middle. So under that framework, like, what are you guys proud of with asking questions? Like, what are some of the questions that you think, like Troy, I would say start with you, like on this one. Like, I feel like you've done a very good job of asking the right questions about how to use AI to where it doesn't feel like you're being lazy, but it feels like you're actually trying to like scale the right part of what you do.
Well, I think you and I, like, when we have our sit downs, like, we'll in real time play out some of those scenarios, and you'll suggest some prompts. I think the thing that I've tried focusing on is like I've gone to the, you know, as realtors, we're like, oh, how can we be one of the top 5 realtors in this community, or how can we be do better in this demographic, or whatever it ends up being. So I literally have like taken those type of simple questions and asked something as plain as, hey, how can I be one of the top 5 realtors in Lakewood? Hey, what do I have to do tomorrow? Hey, I want to be known for X, in the Cleveland market. How do I end up getting there? Give me a 12-month. Like, you have to ask for a specific related. Okay, can you give me a playbook of what I can do for under $1,000 a month for the next 12 months? Like, give me what I could spend that money on and what I could do in order to get me there by this date.
And I would call that like planning and pinning is probably the best way to put it. It's like, and I've struggled with this a lot, hence that's why I'm doing this meeting today, is like, I'm farming this audio to know what my pinning is.
Yeah.
And you guys are all those people that I trusted for that feedback. But the pinning is important because it's sourcing all of people's questions. Okay. Like with Google, it was just answers, right? It's finding Wikipedia, it's finding an article that exists. Like if you're asking that question of like, how can I be the top in this market? It also knows that they might have asked questions about how to be top in that market. Another agent
Or
might have asked.
or in an adjacent market that's in that same region. You know?
Yeah, because it's just treating it, yeah.
Well, I mean, and then what we ended up doing is we actually took it a step farther, like taking that type of list, and then we tied in my Google, both Gmail and my Google Calendar, and I actually had to drop those to-do lists with a task command. So, and we only gave it 15 minutes to do these tasks every single, like whenever it was. I probably need to end up planning it out more like for an hour, but to realistically implement most of these things. But it allows me to end up saying, okay, I can end up time blocking out accordingly, and it's already there in my schedule instead of me end up trying to find the time and then putting it off. It's physically there, and I can end up allocating to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think Steve, to bounce off what Troy's saying, like I think you're on the inverse, right? Where I would say the actual day-to-day implementation has been worse, but like in terms of marginal, holy crap, that's a different business model. Like I was the most shocked when we drove down to Columbus and was just like, wow, like what, just for everyone in the room, kind of like speed up the version of like, what did we talk about first? And then what was some of that feedback that kind of made you go, whoa, I didn't consider that, but this is a new way for me to approach my business.
Yeah, I guess selling, 100 flips or 150 flips a year, doing turnkey, and they're all, 1 to 3 houses, a lot of different people. They talk about selling them in bulk to, REITs and other things like that, and actually probably be able to sell them for a little bit more because of the larger scale of it. So that's been kind of the focus, is find a larger buyer that would buy, 10, 15 houses at once instead of dealing with 15 different buyers.
And I think like the good thing we did in the car was you described pain point. So like when we were talking mostly, he was saying like, this is where I feel friction. Like these areas of my business are running well, but there's friction in the buyers, which is a weird thing to say, right? Like it's on the outside that you can have that at times. But instead of us like hitting our head against the wall for months, like how do we get more of the bad person? It kind of skipped a step and was like, hey, maybe don't even aim that way.
Yeah, aim a totally different direction. And I've also pivoted a little bit to refi a lot more property out as well. So just doing blanket refis for my own personal rentals.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that makes it a little bit less tedious because I'm not selling as many.
Yeah.
I guess I'm selling more, but just also refining more, but either way.
And so for your brain, like, how long would that have taken you to just muster up as Steve? Like, or probably never? Do you think?
I would say probably never. I mean, I don't really even know any. The REIT that came to me was through someone I was selling a house to.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, my friend's done this in multiple markets. Let me introduce you. And then we started talking, and then I shot over some sample ones, and he's doing his due diligence on the sample ones. So we're gonna go from there. But I don't know if it was weird that I talked about ChatGPT, and then 3 months later, a person that's buying a single house off me is now like, oh, hey, I have this guy that's looking to put in $8 million into an area. I'm like, oh, okay. It's buying a house in Akron for 135.
So it was something that had already been a seed in your head.
Yeah, it's been a seed, and I don't know if that's what pulled it out or how it all kind of happened.
Yeah. I want to go to Bo. So Bo, like just to give people an idea, like I think it's fair to say your biggest challenge is how many opportunities there are, not the ones you pick.
Red dress, yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrendous.
So how would you describe the conversation we had in St. Louis? Like you had probably like 40 business opportunities you were talking me through, and then what did I encourage you to do with the AI?
Well, first off, I had to make a big, long conversation with it. Told him my life, everything I'm trying to achieve, what I think my hangups are, things of that nature. So once I started transcribing a lot of my audio into it, like my day-to-day thoughts and treating it like a journal, my efficiency's gone up like sky high, and my clarity has come to a whole new level where I'm taking shots in bigger markets that I think I'd be available to do due to the fact that I wasn't fully focused. But like now that I'm fully focused on like our goal, like I'm
So when you say it's been a distraction reducer?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And then when I start getting out of line, like it smacks me back into place, which is good. So it set it up with like parameters to keep me in my guardrails.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately it's made, every like big decision in my life for like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since April, honestly.
Yeah. Jay, what about you? What do you think are the areas that you, A, wish you were using it more, but B, like, I mean, and Jeff, I want you guys to maybe tag team this, like you're both in lending, right? I would say it's one of the most restricted or tighter sides of the industry. Like, where are the areas you wish AI were helping you more?
Well, for me, it's starting to already get implemented on the back end with lenders. So they're starting to implement just in when you submit a loan, they're combing through it and already giving you a pre-approval. Like I just did one that we actually are closing today, and the initial approval was done inside of, I think, 3 hours for AI because it was just so clean. So it went through AI. An underwriter hadn't even looked at it, already combed through credit, already combed through everything, and then gave me approval in 3 hours, which was nuts. And I'd never experienced that before. I didn't even know I was doing that when I submitted the loan. And I submitted all like pay stubs, W-2s, yeah, whatever. And I already had a conditional approval same day, which was pretty cool. So we're already starting to see changes of AI where I get very, like on your loan, like I wasn't uploading your tax returns and being like, hey, AI, figure this out. Like, no, like I don't trust it like that yet.
So that's the fear of accuracy, right?
Yeah,
where it's
right.
like the penalty of it being wrong doesn't
right.
even.
Whereas if
come
I'm
close to
wrong, I can live with that. But if then I channeled it through, and I could always double check it or whatever, but I just wasn't there yet with it. I feel like income is a huge thing. He brought up a great thing with just documents. In vetting HOA docs or vetting your purchase agreement. I think that's awesome. I use it a lot in just my milestone follow-up. So I had to create a CRM on my own from scratch. And I've been using it to write all of my milestone emails, my follow-up, and it all seems very personal and whatever, but it's like literally copy and paste. And as soon as we hit milestones, like these things go to my clients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how I wish I could use it, I don't really know because I don't know what I don't know, but I would love to have it implemented more in the upfront pre-approval process of uploading pay stubs, W-2s, and I'm going to start to actually try that now.
Yeah.
Just getting the idea from this of, hey, here's a commissioned employee, give me his average for the last 2.5 years, and then seeing what it could do, and I'll also have my own income calculator to make sure we're good. You know what I mean? So maybe I can start having things taken off my plate instead of being so like, I don't know, such a control freak.
Yeah.
I can let go of that maybe a little bit, but it's also the reason my close rate's so high is because I am a control freak.
Yeah. So I think for everyone that like relates to Jay on that, that's the thing that I think there's a lot of mislabeled advice where it's like, let go of that online. Whereas I think don't let go of it. Just try to train an AI system to understand what the control freak is.
Because to your point though, I can upload my income calculators and my tools directly to it and then just be like, do this.
Because we all have the same tool, right? Like this is one of the first times where like it doesn't really matter like where you're lending from, where your brokerage is. Like we all have the same AI, and at most we're getting choked out for $200 a month. So like that doesn't even compare to like what I pay to be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think when we all understand we have that, it's like what are you guys uniquely good at on your own, and how do you skyrocket that first? Because other people are going to start having their own custom GPTs that's what they're best at. So like when I did the call to clone my voice, that wasn't really like me and Sam, the guy who ran that company. That was like my AI talking to Sam's AI. So like he was on this call and he'd be like, ask your AI this. And I'm like telling mine to talk for 5 minutes. And then it's like downloading it, transcribing on his screen. And then he's doing it. And I thought about like what we did. We created a 32-page script based off every objection I've ever got on a recorded sales call. That took 3 hours. Like that would have been something in the 90s that like I would have had to have like full summer interns do for probably 3.5 months and then still have the regular staff finish in the fall.
Yeah.
And so it's like things like that are where I think that was taking unique knowledge about everything I've dealt with and like real objections of what people struggle with, and then taking his knowledge of like how do I build the right sales script, trained off all those sales programs.
One of the things I have been using it for and I'm trying to build out because I think Lorain is a really underserved county when it comes to Spanish-speaking clients, and I think there's a huge opportunity there. So I've been using it to translate and work with Spanish-speaking buyers. So because I don't speak Spanish.
Live translate, or you're just saying
live translate? Live translate, also translate emails, follow-ups, things when we need things from them. Because I work with Spanish-speaking agents, and I want to grow that and actually grow a Spanish-speaking team because that's a huge market.
Yeah, so for everyone, like I moved into our house like 2-ish weeks ago. Like night one, I have both dogs with me and the neighbors are speaking Spanish, and like I understand it, I can't speak back. So I'm like stressed out. I've got both of the dogs in my hands and they're like handing me this card as it's dark. I'm like, what is this? So I like go over, grab it, and realize it's like handyman and house cleaner. And I'm like, oh man. So then I go and look, it's all spelled wrong. But then I took a screenshot of it, threw it into ChatGPT and was like, hey, write a message saying that we're renovating the bottom unit. We want it to be an Airbnb. Ask if they do services for this and then what that would look like. And if the wife is a cleaner, what are her prices? How often can she do it? And I've been talking to this guy for like probably a 30 message exchange. But when I see him outside, I'm like, and that's it. And so I think this is one of those things where like, yes, for Spanish, it's good, but this could be any language.
Yeah.
And so I think just thinking bigger with that. And then that's another one, like Meta is going to make a marginal jump. They announced on Monday that the reels we all post are now going to live translate, meaning like we're not just going to serve to the US anymore. So like right now, everyone in this room, our reels only serve to English accounts. Like to what Jay's saying, if I have a Spanish account, I don't see anyone's content here. I only see Spanish content. Yeah. What that's going to do is open up basically the whole internet to each other. Because up until then, the only videos that served to the whole world were like no talk videos.
All right. Yeah. So jumping on that, I think part of our fear, and you can't talk about what interning was like in the 90s. I'm sorry. Don't even try it.
We still remember that dialogue sound.
I had that, and I actually did intern from 96 to 2001, so I don't want to hear about it. Anyways, but what I would say is, I think all of our fears across the board, especially the people that are over the age of 35 here, I would say, I think our concern is, are we positioning ourselves and giving it too much data to position ourselves out of our livelihoods moving forward? I think I think people that are in the late, we'll call them the older millennials into Gen X and so on, that are older, I think they're concerned about how to pivot and how to be positioned to pivot, because we haven't grown up in that demographic and that mindset. So I think that's a little bit still hard for some of those individuals to wrap their heads around, and becoming comfortable with that. So that just like uploading personal data, are we uploading, if Jay's uploading his calculators and his metrics, and are we just giving AI all that information and cutting ourselves out down the road? Right? So I think that mindset, like just trying to address that. So
we're just training our replacement.
Right.
Down the road. I mean, and we just have to always be on the, like Alex is doing, he's pivoting from a content creator to going over into an AI, if you want to call it,
Implementation.
expert, implementer, or whatever, on that. We're going in, it's not going, we already understand this, it's not a 20 plus year career in most cases any longer. It's about how are you positioning yourself and how are you transitioning yourself in, 5-year segments, or even maybe less than that as we move forward, in order to make sure that we still have a paycheck and a livelihood in another few years.
Yeah, so that's like the thought that keeps everyone up at night. Like, and I think for me, like I've opened up about it in a couple other speeches where like I almost shut my agency down in 22. Like genuinely, like we were growing quick. It was the most money I was ever making. And I used ChatGPT one night and was like, there's no point. Like it can do everything I do better than I can by far. But, and there was a moment, but there was a moment where I realized someone still has to do the AI. Someone still has to make the events happen. And I think it's a shift from understanding that in the future, none of us will be needed. The people that make money will be wanted. And that's like a huge emotional shift to make where it's like, I genuinely think with AI, if I didn't need regulation, I would not have needed Jay or Mike to buy a house. I really wouldn't have. But the truth was, I am too busy. I don't want to do it myself. And I would rather have someone who I know does that do it for me, because I think the new margin of like what I want is time. Like time means way more to my generation. Like I literally have friends that if I call them, they won't take the call because they don't know if that's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, and that risk is too high to talk to their best friend. Genuinely. Mm-hmm. And so I think everyone in the room, I know personally, like you have something that provides value to other people. Remember what the value is and try not to say it's me. Don't say like it's Troy, it's Steve, it's Bo, Jay, or Marla. It's like the value is what I'm getting this person at the outcome. And like a wild example of me even like self-automating or trying to robocop myself was I met a lawyer in Ohio. He has a place in Miami, and when I was down there for a mastermind, he said we should shoot content. I didn't realize that he had sent me the Zoom link last time, so it didn't get recorded. So I actually didn't have the notes that I thought I had for him. And so when I realized that, I was like, crap, this is not good. And I was with him in person, and I literally took my phone out, went to ChatGPT, and said, I'm with Josh. He's our new client who's a lawyer. I need 10 engaging questions from our last conversation where I uploaded the notes. I need you to generate these live. And he heard me doing that with voice, and he goes, that's crazy. I took my phone and handed it to him. And it started asking him questions for his monthly content. And what he realized is he's like, no one needs to know that's Alex's phone. And then when he got done with it, he goes, that was crazy. I need to have your AI ask my other buddy questions. So notice that wasn't a referral from me. That was a referral from my AI because of how it asked the questions. That's where I think a lot of this is going. It's like, I want Troy's AI to do my next like open house setup. And even like my buddy Drew, he runs a cleaning company and got into like a horrible situation with like a really predatory loan, like 47% interest predatory. But it was an easy to sign up account. He got it through an Instagram ad. And there's a guy who does credit repair and makes all these videos about like unique ways to like credit card hack. And when he came to me, he goes, dude, I need to talk to Matt's AI. It's not Matt anymore. I need to talk to Matt's AI. And I think that's the shift that's happening is like, and that's where on one side, it's like you're having systems and expectations of service go up, but brand now is still more important because you now need to be like, I want Troy's, I want Steve's, I want Bo's, because you're identifying like what your brain trained it with.
And I agree on that. I think one thing, and this is going to be completely dumbing it down from where you were just at a very high level on that. One thing that I am using AI and trying to get much better at is, and Alex will tell you, I'm like, I bought into a service that was probably a little bit ahead of its time with regards to using its own AI for real estate related stuff. And so I got to pick my AI assistant's name, and her name's Sarah. She introduced herself as Troy's digital assistant, and we go through. She sends text messages, sends emails for me, and she will make phone calls. And I had Alex listen to some of the transcripts from the phone calls, and Alex is like, "There's no delay, there's no pause, there's nothing. It's a real time interaction." And he goes, this is Alex can speak to it for his own input on this, but it's like, the reason I had signed up for the service is that, I'm not here yet, but like, this is where I want to get to, is where I can end up having Sarah make the phone calls for me, vet somebody's interest levels, and then drop either live transfer me calls, which is possible, or schedule me for a physical one-on-one.
So you want this person to be your inside sales associate, like ISA?
Well, I mean, it's fully AI, but yes. Yeah. And it's like, they're going to have, it's called Rent 360, Real Estate Nexus. So I signed up for it about a little over a year ago at this point. And, it's not cheap, but it's been like, I'm getting better and better. And what we're trying to do is train Sarah based on my brain. So we're trying to take that and then try to refeed it back in, on that. One thing that I'm working on right now is, I got 10 years as a real estate agent. I have 23 years in the industry. And what I'm trying to do is every single client that I've had over the course of that timeline is I'm reconnecting with them one way or another. So all my clients that purchased a house or sold a house, and if I end up having if I was the listing agent for it, what we're end up doing is like, somebody came to me and asked for concessions on something, for instance, and John Smith buys this house from Mary Jones, and I was servicing, I was the list agent for Mary. I'm going back to John and going, hey John, like, I know you guys ended up got some concessions. You ended up asking for a furnace. Hey, did you end up ever getting that furnace replaced? I know it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever the timeline is. But what we're doing is we're taking the pain point from that time that my client may have felt that pain by having to pay a concession or something, but it's reconnecting me with an agent or a buyer or seller that I never knew. Like, we did a transaction together. Right? So you're doing it. So I'm going the opposite route. I'm reaching out to the people that I never worked with.
Right.
But I know that you might have not talked to your buyer in the last 3 years, that since you sold them that house. So what I'm doing is I'm finding every single party involved with every single transaction I've done in the last decade. And what we're doing is we're reconnecting I'm doing AI to redraft emails to each of those individuals. And then if it was a buyer side, I would have an inspection done, or in certain cases, maybe I have clients that are homeowners that I talk to them and convince them to do a home inspection with one of my partners that do home inspections. And what we're building now is prioritize these things by severity level. So most home inspectors do red, green, yellow, or whatever it is, right? We're taking those items and saying, hey, did you end up taking care of the furnace? Hey, did you take care of the roof? Hey, here's 2-3 contractors that I really like that would end up helping you with this thing if you haven't done it yet. But the first question is, have you done this? Because it's on your home inspection report. And then AI is pulling from that, drafting an email around this specific, hey, great working with you last year. Just want to say congratulations on year 1 of ownership. Hey, I know these things were on your inspection report. Did you end up tackling these things?
And notice, guys, like Troy so this I think answers the pain point. You're basically all the shit you don't want to do, you're automating.
Or you don't have time.
No one cares that you're doing it. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, I'm offended he used an AI to remind me about my HVAC. It's just nice that someone's reminding about the HVAC.
Yeah.
And I think, like...
And I can end up doing a series of questions like, hey, did you ever tackle it? If they, because what my fear is, and it was something we've seen with Sarah doesn't read my CRM to say, it doesn't check public records right now, and this is where we're trying to get it to. We want her to match up my client or my person in my CRM with the public data that shows that they are the owner of the property currently, so that my AI doesn't slip up and say, "Oh, do you have a home to buy or sell?" Like, that's not the.
Right.
Are you looking to buy a house or do you have a home to sell? I'm like, I don't want that question to be in there. It sounds like I don't know the person I sold the house to a year ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I want that to sort of be. I want to be very specific to that client once I have that information. So.
And let's go to the deeper parts. This is the other side of the fear. Steve, what were we texting about like 3 nights ago? Because this was like a very big eye opener. Because like a guy like Steve, right? He's doing an amount of flips no one else sees in Northeast Ohio. You'd think, what could he be afraid of AI for? What was your fear? Tenant side. When you were like, I'm worried that these tenants aren't going to have jobs.
Oh, yeah, because I was doing all these refis and I was like, yeah, well, like a lot of my tenants are replaceable. That's what I thought about it. Like if AI takes a lot of their jobs, like, and I'm buying all these rentals and I'm doing turnkey flips, and let's just say I lose a third of my tenants lose their job over the next 5-10 years. What does my rental portfolio look like, and what does the ones I'm managing look like?
Interesting.
Right?
And I think like for the lenders, I guess this is kind of a question for you guys too, is like, how are you guys seeing that, right? Like you're kind of the first pulse at like, how are people really doing? Like, are you seeing a lot of people that I'm selling because AI took my job? Or not so much?
I haven't seen that at all as a lender, and I haven't seen it.
Not yet.
I think we're a couple more years from seeing that.
All right.
Because I don't think there's enough people. There's still too many. No offense to the boomers in the room, but there's probably still too many baby boomers in leadership positions that aren't putting AI into their forethought of their implementation on their hiring and firing.
But I think the lending side, I think, is extremely curious about reducing costs because it costs so much to originate a loan because it's such an old-fashioned process.
Yeah.
There's so many moving pieces, moving parts, document uploads. So there's no doubt that lenders are all interested in trying to streamline staff. So I do think businesses like ours will see a wave of that happening in the next 3 to 5 years. It's already happening now to some extent where, again, you're uploading documentation or it's being gathered automatically through AI or other engines. I do think our business will see a significant bubble burst with those people that are in those sort of, let's say, admin or button pushing, hate to say that, positions.
Yeah, I mean, if you think
the entry level.
Yeah, and that's I think where the hard part is. It's like if you think about everything, even we've all worked out this trip, like so many of those things were low-level admin jobs, right? Like one prompt in the middle of 10 prompts could have been a full yearly job.
Well, I would even argue that the high level, so obviously during the housing, let's say the boom and, during COVID time, underwriters in our business were getting paid extreme amounts of 6-figure money, guarantees, contracts. They were highly paid, and they were all at war. And I think that underwriting a file, you're looking at ones and zeros basically was what you're looking at, right? You can digitize all of this stuff. So I think the underwriters, they're highly paid, highly compensated people. I think we're going to see a dramatic change with that because also they're humans. They can only take so much capacity. They're a big bottleneck, I think, in any company. I think we're going to see them replaced by AI, maybe even before some of the entry-level people, honestly. And then also, from a compliance perspective, if everything's being done by AI and computers, there's no human failure to that job. So
I think there's supposed to be something to check it.
I agree with you.
There has to
At
be.
this point, maybe in 5-10 years.
We're not there yet, but I think we'll get there.
What does everyone in the room think their unique human value is that you actually aren't afraid of, like going away?
Emotional intelligence.
That personal touch.
I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Like you could be like, oh, if I had compliance, I could have just did this all on my own, but I didn't know about that.
Probably
Your process.
Probably would have said 6 to 7.
Yeah, you probably would have been like, F this, and when we were going back and forth on documents a little bit. But I think that the emotional awareness of like what your client's going through, like,
Exactly.
or just being able to be there, comfort, manage bad situations, because everybody in a transaction isn't the people in this room. We've had bad actors in a lot of various positions, so for us to be able to show our value and step in as the true professional and help you through or the client through that, even if they are the perfect borrower, but what if something's happening on the selling side?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have a client that was supposed to close this morning that's moving in from Columbus that they're not because a trustee just disappeared on the selling side. What? So now we're managing that and I'm calming the borrower down so we can, maybe they can take early occupancy. We're clear to close. We're supposed to close today. It's most likely not closing until Monday. So we're figuring out if he's like, well, AI couldn't step in.
It's Tuesday, right?
So like AI didn't step in.
AI doesn't know that.
Yeah.
They can take holidays.
Right. So, right. But I'm picking up my phone on Sunday morning to calm her down and, herd the cats, if you will. So I think that that's where I we provide something that's protected. Because honestly, I think that Rocket would have figured it out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
They tried with chat. So they have a chat specific team that does everything you're talking about. And now they've implemented AI. And they've tried to slowly remove the people from the situation. And it just, at some point in time, there's they actually stop the process and it never gets to 100%. I know that because I still have really good friends that work there.
Yeah.
And I have friends that they get handed off and it could be midway through the process. It could be after they've already got conditionally approved or whatever, that they take over because people just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
There isn't enough communication to make everybody feel comfortable, whether that be the agent, the buyers, anybody involved. So I feel like we're a while from that on the real estate side as far as our positions are concerned, because there still needs to be a very personal touch in the majority of situations. Now for Steve, he's flipping all these houses. I don't know. A lot of them are cash. You're down to REITs, right?
No, like a lot of them are loans. I'd say.
Well, then there you go. Then I guess it's not. But I guess it's what I'm saying is kind of
Because they talk about leveraging, so then they can be paid down, and then instead of buying one house, they can buy 5 or 4. So it's always a conversation of leverage, and usually they're high W2 income earners, meaning 50 to $1 million a year.
But for your cash, would they be, pretty much, it'd still be something to figure out, right? If they were just all cash buyers in a REIT.
Yeah, I mean, that would make the process faster and cut off 2 weeks.
Okay.
I mean, we pre-sell all of them now, so I don't have any net inventory. They're all 3 or 4 weeks pre-sold.
Gotcha.
So based on numbers and cap rates and stuff.
Going back to something you said earlier, I don't see AI, what I'm seeing is buyers being forced into the market that they weren't prepared for. So what I'm seeing is people that had rents rise in a specific area that now have to be buyers because their rent went up $700. Mm-hmm. I see that as like an artificial demand, and it's been happening in short-term spurts where things like this will happen. So I haven't really seen AI take jobs, but I've seen the market change.
Kind of push it.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons I feel like there was a demand issue in the summer, spring months, and then now we're starting to see that kind of cool off a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I don't really see anything from AI side.
I think we're at the end of the August lull, but I always call it an August lull because everybody goes on vacation, got one last hurrah before school starts and everything else, and then that's why I have all these. I have 4 listings that are going to be coming live in September that we're holding off because they had various reasons. 2 are moving out of the area, 1 just sat vacant, and
kids moving back to college, whatever.
But I mean, they're waiting for that, and now like, all right, now I can get myself back wrapped around that. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that. I think the emotional aspect is like, in what we're not going to see, we don't have access to HIPAA. We don't have access to court necessarily, all court docs and know where somebody's situation is. So we don't know if somebody's getting divorced. We don't know if they're going to therapy couples therapy because they're trying to save their marriage. We don't know if mom is put in hospice and she's going to have to sell that house because she just left and dad already died a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Right? Those situations we don't know. Or AI won't know, I should say.
And I think that's where the companionship is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I've seen from most of us in this room is like you guys are the best extractors of that data. And then I think the work like I would want to do with most of everyone is like how do we build a system so that once you get that data, you aren't bogged down by that data. You still give them the service, you still are taking care of them. But I agree with you until there's a chip in all of our heads where if I think I'm stressed, a counselor ad hits my brain. We're not going to know about this stuff.
I think what you said smart though, is I think that I've got a guy that's been trying to get me to purchase kind of pre-divorce and divorce data for a long time. It's very expensive data to get a hold of. I think some of those those life change situations that you can, predict by behavior before, that is super intuitive though, because if we can understand as people are doing that, they're going out to get counseling or they're doing this or they're looking at homes. I think all of that data will at some point aggregate and we will know 4, 6, 8 months ahead of time and be able to nurture those relationships, or especially if they're already in our database and we're trusted.
Yeah.
That's to me when having that data would be valuable. So just reaching out to them and say, hey, Jay, I heard you're married happily, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I heard you guys are having a fight at the barbecue, right? It's like, I think having some of that data for our really true trusted database would be helpful. And I think that will become available at some point.
Yeah. So what do you guys like? I just want to take a second to like turn the business hats off because I've used it personally for a lot of stuff outside of business. And I think that's one of those, you can't be the best at using it for business unless you're using it for everything else. So me personally, about 2 years ago, I was just like talking to my mom and realized like every male for like 5 generations died of a heart attack in their 60s. And there was just kind of one of those moments where I was like, that's data that's not leaning in my favor. And so what I kind of realized is like, I can do something now because I'm young enough. So like for me personally, like I track all my health on this, and this isn't like an advice for you guys to do that. But what it has done is like, I fixed my sleep for the most part. I used to be a like 2 to 3 hour a night guy, coffee all day. I'm now like a 6 to 7 and like actually having a pattern with it. 2, it's allowed me to like track stress. So I'm not redlining every day. And a lot of those things I do in the life side are what allow me to like be here, have enough delegated to do this at 10:30 on a Thursday.
How's your stress level right now? What's it showing as you're talking?
Let's check. It's recording. So this rates anywhere between a 0 to a 3, and 3 is like Alex is having a heart attack. 0 is like I'm asleep. 1.4.
No, not bad.
Not bad. But some of the other things that I've used it for personally, dog training. So like having a really hyperactive dog that wasn't the breed they told us when we adopted it, turned that into a full, like I train it now 4 nights a week. Like we actually go through that. And then also travel, vacation, not in the sense of like find me the cheap flight, but in a sense of like, here are my living conditions. I want to go to this event. I want to have a gym in the area. Like I want to make sure there are restaurants. I'm eating Burger King every night. I've used it almost as like the assistant I never had, but I'm curious for you guys, like what have been some non-business use cases?
So I'm trying to learn how to cook better, but also because I have young kids and trying to be more patient. So on Thursdays when I have them alone, we've been cooking, so it's been helping us like come up with recipes that like I can handle and a 5-year-old and 2-year-old can have fun doing. And then at night we've been using them to make bedtime stories, to where we make them with the prompt, make it 10 minutes long. And then we have it put 4 choices the kids have to make, like 4 different things they have to do so they can direct the story. So that's been pretty neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm gonna print out pictures of the kids.
Yeah, the color. Yeah,
that's been fun.
That is fun.
Did you get they have the wood sets where they cover together for the kids so they can cut them?
Yeah.
So when we're cooking,
Second
we
wave.
have the kids set out,
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So they're like, have their own little set next to us while we're doing it.
You know, just, we haven't used it on a personal level. I mean, I'm getting so much out of this group. I just got to tell you, in this hour that we've been together, my mind has just been, I've been cutting my phone calls short because I'm like, hey, I got to get back in here. No, sincerely, because it's small groups like this where you get the nuggets. I haven't used it in a personal, you know, being a husband and wife team.
Yeah.
Our life is real estate. You know, so what is it when we're here? Real estate. What is it when we're in the car? Real estate.
Yeah.
What is it when we're at home?
Well, now you got some story time games now, so.
You know,
Grandparents of the year.
You don't even think about that though, you know, you don't.
Tell my wife a story so she stops talking.
So it's just, you know, it's just great. And just to go back just real briefly, I don't think any of our industries are going anywhere, you know, because of there's a need for human
I agree.
interaction.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to use Costco as my business model, right? You go to Costco on a Saturday, you know, they have people that are doing the cash register, but you also can do the self-checkout.
Yeah.
I was just standing there the past 2 Saturdays just doing Anthony's own analysis. Which lines had the longer lines? It's the one with the actual physical cashiers. The ones that, and once again, I don't have any statistical data. This was just me standing there just.
Because people want interaction, but.
Right.
You know,
So, and those that were in the self-checkout had smaller 2 or 3, you know.
Not too colorful.
Who also goes to Costco though and only buys 4 things? Those people have issues.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, people seek out interactions, specifically since COVID. I think is something that we are seeing in our industry, and they're looking for that personal information versus grabbing it from the internet. I think they want to have a quote unquote professional and that they're pulling that information from. Right. And some of it is going to be a 20-something that is doing influencing on socials, and there's going to be other people that are going to want the face-to-face. And I think it's still going to be a long time that we need then positioning ourselves to be face-to-face, whether we're on social media or if we're in person. I think then providing that value and finding ways to utilize AI to implement that is where we're focused.
Here's something real quick that I took away from our discussion, Alex and I, and some other conversations. I've been really guilty of this for a long time, and I'm really working to correct this, which is the one-to-one strategy in our business. And I'm sure as all of you guys know, one-to-one interaction is amazing, but I find myself, I'm repeating a lot of scripts, conversations, procedures, processes, dialogue.
Yeah.
So I'm actually working on doing one-to-many in the mortgage business, and I did it before during COVID, doing more webinars, more one-to-many situations, also recording things. Also for first-time home buyers that want to have that hour-long conference because no one ever got the education. Working on doing those 3 days a week and inviting multiple people, having a small community talking about this versus me talking one-on-one conversations with every single buyer because I can't replicate that quick enough. And so,
you're gonna hang up that phone and you're like, crap, I didn't talk about this. Mm-hmm. Like, you have that thing, like, I should have recommended this, or I should have talked about doing this. Those things happen a lot. Like, one thing that I started in 2019 prior to AI is I had a lot of clients that were medical residents that lived around. And I pulled a list together of those individuals, say, hey, where'd you go to school? Who do you know that's coming to Cleveland for medical residency? So I built an organic list manually like that, right? And then every single year I'm like, hey, did you guys come? Did you not? And I knew all the dates, right? And it's manually. What has happened though, I had to go back, and Cleveland Clinic doesn't give this data, Metro doesn't give this data, UH doesn't give this data, so I had to organically pull it out from each individual med school separately. So I would contact, hey, can you give me the top 3, 4, or 5 schools that you are sending people to this year? And I was starting from talking to somebody that went to Neomed and like, hey, do you know where any of your classmates went for their residencies? Hey, do you know, I would talk to doctors or dentists that were coming out of Ohio State or something else. I'm like, hey, where are they going? I would find that information out. Now with AI, what I've been able to do is I say, hey, can you search every single school's records of anybody that had gone to Ohio State University Medical College, and where did they end up going to residency? Please identify the top 5 in Ohio. medical systems in Ohio or health systems in Ohio. And I built off lists for that. So now I have an outdoor list. So I took it from there. Now I end up I do once a month, seminars or Zooms with those individuals. And they're in second year, third year, fourth year med students. Hey, if you guys are thinking about coming to Cleveland in 2026, 27, whenever you guys are finishing up, let me know. I'm going to be doing a Zoom on October 22nd. I'm going to do another one November 20th, December 19th, and so on. I always pick a Saturday. I said, hey, we're going to end up doing it. It's going to be from 10 to 11 a.m. Just want to introduce you to some things about Cleveland. Here's a lender. Here's an inspector. Here's some really cool points of interest. This is what we're seeing in the market. And then I would end up trying to dig in more about what their specialty is. Because, hey, I now have about 22 medical residents that are either currently own a house or they have owned a house with me. And I introduce them to those individuals and say, hey, this was the experience with Troy. And it allows me to end up inviting them into Cleveland. And I guarantee you, I don't have there might be other people reaching out to people that are only into pathology at Cleveland Clinic or something.